minute. How you doing? Scorch is here. And this is going to be a very special version of Scorch's PFG-TV because I didn't know if this is going to work, but we're going to give it a shot here. I think it is. Joining me on the program today, it's an old friend of mine. I used to work with him in Syracuse at K-Rock. We've been through the wrestling jungle together. This is my pal, Silent Bob Stafford. Give me some fake applause, can I please? There you go. Hey, Bob, what's happening, man?
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll do it for myself.
A little finger applause. What's going on, man?
I hear it.
Doing, brother? Yeah, you are here.
I'm doing
so
all
glad
right.
to have you aboard, man. So we got to get used to this thing. We got to get used to
forgot the dog.
What's that?
You forgot the dog.
Oh,
you said K-Rock. You didn't say the dog.
You worked with me at the dog, too, huh?
I did.
Wow, 105 the dog. I was telling somebody about the dog the other day, Bob. They literally, and now you can vouch, they literally put us in a closet behind one of the studios. Remember that? And they built a little radio studio. And this was iHeartRadio at the time. They built the tiniest little piece of crap studio. And they decided they wanted to put a rock station on when I lost my job at K-Rock for another round of budget cuts, as they said. So, yeah, the dog, though, had its own special place in our hearts, didn't it?
It did. I loved it. Can we call it the beer money station? Basically what they were trying to get.
It pretty much was just a beer money situation, wasn't it? But it was fun. The thing about the dog, though, if you remember, and I'm wondering if it might be like a Japanese movie. Your lips might be moving different than the sound, but we'll work on that. The dog, I remember they made this big thing. Bob, do you remember this? They made this big thing. The dog came out they played the Barking Dogs, remember, for like 48 hours straight, or a week straight. And I believe it was a week straight. And then it was, I think, Christmas time, obviously. And then the Barking Dogs stopped. And they made this big ballsy voice. Ladies and gentlemen, the world of rock and roll has changed in the world in Syracuse, New York, blah, blah, blah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 105, The Dog. And the very first song I played, because I was the one that played, was Eminem. Cleaning out my closet. And I was like, what is this for a rock station? Do you remember that?
I remember that Eminem was all over rock radio during the modern rock days, and everybody was confused.
Was not the first song I expected. I don't know what I expected to play.
I know when it says rock, the first thing they say is changing the world of rock or whatever.
And then we went into that. But I really did have a good time at that station. That was a fun station, but we had a lot of issues, a lot of internal issues, a lot of programming issues, if you remember. I had a little headbutting issue with the gal program director at the time. Do you remember that?
I wasn't there for that. I came in after. Like, she hired me, and then that was like, I didn't see her much.
Okay. I remember this is how radio used to be. Excuse me. I had pneumonia. I got pneumonia a lot. I still do, as you can tell. I have bad lungs. The girl, and I'm not going to mention her name, doesn't make a difference. She was going to give me some time off for pneumonia, but people knew that me and her had a thing going on, like a headbutting thing. So I was on the air, and my bud, Red Peters, remember I used to play How's Your Whole Family, right? Okay. Red Peters, Red Peters also does a thing called the spelling song. And it says Fuckyoubl. Yep. So I said, I got pneumonia and my program director won't give me any time off. So this one's for you. Fuck. And they came in and they threw me off the air and I had my pneumonia time. But radio was so good back then. And you're going through the same thing now that I'm going through. You're still working part-time in radio. But radio is a different ball game. Don't you agree?
It is. It's still the best time of my life. That 2 or 3 or 4 hours that I get to be in there
Yeah, yeah.
is the best time of my week,
It's
undoubtedly. I
amazing.
love it.
But people say all the time to me now, why don't you get back into radio? Why don't you try this station? Why don't you try this station? It's not that easy anymore like it used to be. I mean, remember, there used to be a radio newspaper called Radio and Records. Do you remember R&R? Radio and Records. And in the back, they had East, Midwest, South, Southwest, West. They had radio jobs from all over the place. And that was the place you can go, and you had as fair a shot as anybody to get a job. Now, there was a guy I worked with in Albany. When I first became Scorch, he did middays, Dr. John Cooper. I didn't even know he was still on in radio. When I was in Florida last year, I heard a classic rock station, an iHeart radio station. There's Dr. John Cooper, still using the name Dr. John Cooper. And so, I mean, it's amazing. If you have an iHeart radio rock station in your market, and I don't want to misspeak, this ain't, and I'm not putting down the radio business, good for these people. But if you have an iHeart,
It's changed. That's
yeah,
all.
if you have an iHeart radio station in your
Technology.
market and you hear a guy named Big Rig, okay, Big Rig is based out of Tampa. Big Rig is on dozens of rock stations. He's good. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be, but Big Rig is not local. Maria something or other, the midday girl that does a midday shift on iHeart radio station. Same thing. And granted, they're displacing a lot of good radio people. And that's the only issue I have. And that's kind of sacrilegious, I guess, because I was syndicated for a while and I put people out of work. But I felt bad about it at the time. I guess when you are doing it, I guess you don't feel bad, but in hindsight, you kind of do, you know.
Well, I still do. I mean, I mourn the fact that I can't do it full time. I struggle with that.
It sucks that full-time in radio. And then, on a side note, full-time in radio, now some of the people that are on the air, and you and I talked about this on the phone the other day or on another meeting we had, some of the people on the air, it's like, how the hell did they get to where they are? And that's not sour
You hear that
grapes.
sometimes, yeah.
But say again?
I mean, I don't have like a radio voice like yourself, but back when I came in, they were really shifting away from that in the 90s. They were totally shifting away from that, getting more of like a conversational thing. It was still great to have the people that had the huge pipes, like yourself and like Roger McHugh and people
Remember
like, I don't know if you remember him.
Remember Tor?
Tor, yeah, and people like that. But they were allowing people in that didn't have the standard radio voice. But now it just seems like some people don't get it. They don't get it.
You know a guy we used to work with that's doing really well for himself in iHeartRadio, Kid Chris.
Oh, Kid Chris is doing great. Yeah, I went to college with him, actually. So for radio and TV.
He's doing really well for himself. Now, I want to talk about some of the things that
I love Chris. I'm a huge fan.
Say again?
Chris, I'm a huge fan.
Yes, I'm
of him as a person.
As well.
I'm a huge fan of Chris as a person and as a jock.
And by the way, we're speaking with Silent Bob. Silent Bob Staffer. He works at 95X in Syracuse, New York. Old friend of mine.
They call me B.O.B. now.
B.O.B.
They call me B.O.B. Remember, because I don't look like Kevin Smith anymore.
As opposed to Sodomy Bob.
Oh, jeez.
We had a boss, Ed Levine. I don't mind mentioning Ed. Ed was one of the people that made me Scorch. Ed one day said, "And who is this Sodomy Bob?" Ed
told me that, and I was just like, what?
Ed was, we had a lot of fun with Ed. Ed one day, I'm going to bring this story up quick. And there's going to be a lot of stories here. So this is what it's going to be about. We're going to play some music too. Ed, one day, we did there was a national don't buy gas thing going on.
Oh, no.
So, of course, I'm
I can
on the
hear it like it
radio.
happened yesterday.
Yep, I'm on the radio. I said, hey, there's this, so, and I even said, and Bob, you'll vouch for me. I even said, I have to buy gas. If you have to buy gas, go ahead. But if you can, try to avoid having to go out and get gas. And all of a sudden, what was it? Hey, rocket scientist, you just lost us $250,000 worth of business.
I'll never forget that. Yeah, we were going on a trip to Boston to do one of your wrestling shows.
Yeah.
Actually. And you were
Bob,
like, well, I have to buy gas. So, I'll be buying gas. But if you're just stating that there was a gas out, like a gas protest or whatever,
and Bob,
it was news. It was huge news.
Bob was notorious. And by the way, we are just getting used to this double thing. This is the first time I've done a double episode, a guest thing. So if we stop on each other every once in a while, we apologize. Bob was notorious for making this face, the mouth drop face. And I wish I was there in the room when that special call came in. I was doing an interview. The Osbournes just made it to MTV. The clip on MTV was Ozzy grabbing the doggy and doing the doggy style. So I was doing this interview with Kelly Osbourne. And I said to Kelly something along the lines of, do you enjoy doggy style with the dogs? It was something along those lines. Bob, please take it from there.
It was like a harmless passing thing, and you were making fun of, like, there's a certain area in Syracuse that's considered very rural. It's in the outskirts of Syracuse. I'm not going to say the name of the town, but you mentioned that town and you said, what are you from? So-and-so. And she didn't get that. She was kind of like, whatever. But wow. Like 10 minutes after that it was a great interview, by the way. You were very, very timely with everything. You had great questions for her. She was having fun back. Everything seemed to be going great. 10 minutes after that interview happened, we get this knock on the studio door. Scorch, could you come in and see Mimi? Rest her soul, by the way. Mimi. And Sharon Osbourne's on the phone. You got to erase that interview. What? You've got to delete that, and I've got to watch you delete it.
She said something along the lines of, she wanted me to cut my balls off.
I want his balls on a platter. I want his balls on a platter. Bring me his balls.
Good stuff, man. When speaking of the dog,
that put our K-Rockathon in jeopardy because that year some of the off days from the bands that were at the Ozfest.
What a surprise that is.
For the days they were off, and she threatened to pull all those bands, including our headliner.
What a surprise that is. Speaking of bands, Bob, when I was at the Dog, I don't think you were at the station then. We did one summer show. It was a Memorial Day show. Were you at the Dog then?
With Brand New Sin, it was the compact truck thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you were at that show.
And Lacuna Coil. Coil was there. So I had just started.
You just mentioned the band I want to play. This band here, and I'm going to play the song that got the band started. I still, to this day, will swear that this song is, and always will be a major rock and roll anthem. And I think you know what song I'm talking about, Bob.
I was a fan of Lacuna Coil when they were just really underground and they were on independent labels. Like I became a fan big because I was into a lot of the underground European and Scandinavian metal and stuff like that at the time. So I knew who Lacuna Coil was, but Brand New Sin is probably the band you're talking about.
This is Brand New Sin.
Our Boys should have been a huge anthem.
This song here,
it has everything.
We'll talk about Joe's connection to wrestling in a second. This is Brand New Sin on SCORCH's PFG-TV.
same story. It's happened before, but still we keep touching. My world has forsaken me. My world is passed over me and given to the other. My world has forsaken me. My world is passed over me and given to the other. To them, it's always been a place to say what you want and you receive it. To us, we know the truth about what's going down and what's going ahead. My world has forsaken me. My world is passed over me and given to the other. My world has forsaken me. My world is passed over me and given to the other. So as the stories told, our lives unfold, and the truth shines through again, making it all seem so much clearer. Let down again. To you, it seems to be a place that has all the things that you ever wanted. To me, it's all the same story that's happened before, and still we keep touching. My world has forsaken me. My world is passed over me and given to the other. My world has forsaken me. My world is passed over me and given to the other. My world has forsaken me. My world is passed over me and given to the other. My world has forsaken me. My world.
I mean, just
So
incredible. And for those,
That's a rock anthem. That's all there is, like you said.
I don't know
Bottom
how, except for bad record label stuff from back then, I don't know how that song didn't make a huge impact in rock radio, because that song to me is truly one of my top 20 rock songs of all time. Excuse me, smoke another one.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, here's the deal. I was driving, I was working at the Dog then, and it was the week before the show. And I had never heard that song before in my life. This is a true story. And I always believe that when you're driving, if you hear a new song and you crank that son of a bitch up, that's a good fucking song. And I was right by the mall in Syracuse. And that song came on, and I just cranked it. And I was like, who the hell is this? And then the girl that we were just talking about was like, that's Brand New Sin. They're going to be headlining the show. Holy fuck. This so freaking good. Now, if you are
I had a
wrestling
local show
fan,
at the time.
say
So
what?
I had a local show. I had a local music show at the time, so
Yeah.
I got a copy of it before anybody did.
Amazing,
I was
amazing
like the
piece of
third
music.
person, I think. Got a
And
copy. And it was so much fun back then with those guys, having them in the studio. I went down to New York City and saw them at a showcase. So much fun and such a great bunch of guys.
And for those that are wrestling fans, and you heard Joe's voice, like, why the hell does that voice sound familiar? The band, I think, did the first version of Big Show's song. But then Joe did a different version of Big Show's song, and then Joe now does an AEW wrestler song as well. Am I correct in assuming that, right?
Yes, he does.
Well,
Tommaso Ciampa. He does Tommaso Ciampa's song.
when Joe came on Scorch's PFG-TV many years ago, I was like, Joe, just hit us with the one people, because that was a New England based show, and people really didn't know Joe at the time. I said, Joe, people know who you are. Do it. And Joe's like, well, and everybody just so just really good stuff. I want to talk more about summer promotions. The K-Rockathon was truly some of the best times in my life, probably yours as well. Wouldn't you agree? Some of those K-Rockathons were outstanding. We had in a horse track in Vernon, New York.
Yeah.
We had 40,000 people on the regular. The one year, I wish I could remember which year it was, but I believe it was me, you, and Ed standing up in the catering area, just watching people just pour in to that field. What was your favorite
all day?
They
kept coming and coming and coming. And that was the year that Papa Roach and Drowning Pool.
Was that the Drowning Pool year? God Lives Underwater played that year.
And for some reason, every year during the K-Rockathon, my favorite moment encompasses all of them. For some reason, anytime I was up in the booth, they decided to send the headliner up. And I was the low guy on the ladder at the station. I was the overnight guy. And it just so happened the time that I happened to be up in the booth broadcasting live is when the headliner made time to come up. It happened almost every year. So
they made me, and the reason to this day, when I'm out live in front of people, I get off on people flipping me the bird. It was Blink 182.
Oh, yeah.
And they were headlining the show. They said Blink 182 wasn't coming. Oh, shit, how are we going to tell these people? These people are going to fucking freak out. I said, Ed, I'll tell them. I don't give a shit. So I'll never forget it. I went on stage and I said, hey, just so you guys know, Blink 182 is not coming. So here's the deal. We can bitch about it all night long, or we can get over it and continue the show. So first of all, everybody say, fuck Blink 182. And the crowd, and I said, now everybody here, flip me the bird. And there's 40,000 people give me the finger. Somewhere, somebody has a picture of that. I instantly got a boinker because that turns me on. And the show went on. But some great shows at the K-Rockathon. Drowning Pool was phenomenal. That was right after Bodies came out. That was 2 months before Dave passed away.
Yeah, it was very, very soon after that happened, and I got to interview them. And he was a great guy. It was a fantastic interview. Very open guy. Very, very likable.
Bands you wouldn't think
talk about anything.
Like what's the band? Orgy. When Orgy played, they were fun. Yep. And Blue Monday, they did the cover of New Order's Blue Monday then. And people loved them. They were a great band. I
interviewed them too. And the cool thing about it was that, Orgy. I interviewed almost all the headliners that year. Definitely Papa Roach too. But for Orgy, Crazy Town, I think, played that year.
Crazy Town, wow.
Was that the same year? But Orgy,
you obviously don't smoke pot.
I knew the guitar. I knew the guitar player from the band because he was in a band called Rough Cut, which was managed by Wendy Dio. And back in the 80s, I saw Rough Cut open for Dio in Syracuse. So I brought that up to him. And to my surprise, he wasn't afraid to talk about it at all, his time in the band and all that. So Amir was his name.
God Lives Underwater was phenomenal back then. Toadies were phenomenal back then. God Lives Underwater.
Crush.
Econoline Crush. God Lives Underwater From Your Mouth was a big song back then. So what was the band that I was seeing a girl that ended up in the elevator with?
That was the Conaline Crush.
Oh, is that why you brought that up, you douchebag?
It came to my head. It's not why I brought it up, but that came to my mind first. And it popped in right as soon as I said it. I'm like, oh, okay.
But I'm going to tell you, though, here's why. I know times have changed, okay? But back then, the K-Rockathon started as 10 bands for $10. And they weren't 10 schlocky bands. They were 10 of the time headlining bands. And it ended up, the one time when said girl, and you were there, I believe, when I almost ripped the door off the trailer at the other place. Where was the other?
Was it Oswego?
Oswego, yes. And I found out
beer year.
I found out a young lady I was living with another guy at the same time.
Oh,
you remember that?
That's never good.
And
the no beer year. I remember that being the no beer year. We couldn't get a beer license because they were arguing over whose territory it was, which company, which beer company.
I remember almost tearing the door off the trailer. They sent me home from that K-Rockathon because of my mental state.
That I didn't know. Wow.
But do you remember who was the headliner that year?
That year, was that Lit?
Nope.
No, Lit was in Syracuse.
Much bigger.
Eve 6?
No, I'm talking much bigger. How about Foo Fighters?
Foo Fighters were supposed to be there, but they didn't show up.
They didn't show up that year?
You don't remember this?
No.
Foo Fighters canceled because Dave Grohl said that he had a family reunion.
Oh, yes.
That he forgot about. And you're the one, again, that had to tell everybody that like a week before the show, all the tickets were sold, everything, all the hype. It wasn't even a week before. It was a few days before. And Scorch has to do it. He did it for Blink 182. He's going to be the one to do it again. You remember it now, right?
Yeah. As soon as you said the thing about him saying he couldn't come because at family picnic or something, the whole station.
And that wasn't Oswego. That was not Oswego. That was Syracuse. It was at the Great New York State Fairgrounds.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm 100% positive.
Yep.
The one in POD headline, the one in Oswego.
I remember POD, yes.
And Puddle of Mud. There were two different. They brought the local bazooka tour in, and then POD and Puddle of Mud we added.
Well, what a great memory you have! Holy crap.
I love that stuff, man. There were some great times. I remember.
Holy crap! So, the whole thing. K-Rock was such a fun station. We had a great staff, and I'm not saying me. It was me doing mornings, Abby doing middays. We had who was doing afternoons at that point?
Rain Man, wasn't he?
Rain Man was doing afternoons. You were doing nights. We had
I was doing overnights, and then I switched to middays when Abby took over a different role.
We had Jamie Hassel at one point. Remember Jamie?
I took over Backstage Live from Jamie. Jamie. I was very, very excited to get the local music show, but I consider him he was the guru.
And by the way, I'm speaking with so hang on a second, Silent Bob Staffa, who is a former radio co-host friend of mine, and
who's not silent anymore. He's just B.O.B.
He's just B.O.B. Oh, that's right. You're just B.O.B.
And you gave me that name on the dog, so I'm surprised you don't remember it.
I don't remember anything, man. We'll talk about things I do remember at the dog in a second. Curly. Now, Curly was one. Curly was a guy, like you said, rest in peace to Curly. Yeah, Ed hated Curly. You remember that?
I remember how he found out his job was at stake. He read it in that magazine you were talking about.
Radio and Records, yep.
He read it there. And I'm like, that's a terrible way to find out.
Curly was the ultimate in alternative rock nighttime jocks. He really was. He passed away many, many years ago too. But yeah, Ed didn't like Curly. D was another one. Remember D?
No, Z.
No, I remember Z, but D. You don't remember D? D.
I don't remember. I didn't work there with D.
Z, of course. D came in. D worked with me at WAAF, and then she came in. We were still in Utica at that point, so it was a while back. You know,
I was started in Utica. Like Fat Man hired me.
One of the
you
things
passed on my tape. Remember,
one of the things that Bob and I
passed on my tape when you were in charge.
One of the things that Bob and I had to deal with was the dual microphone thing. We worked at a station. Nowadays, you flick a switch, you're broadcasting to 60 different cities at once.
Oh,
B.O.B. and I worked at a station that was so money hungry that they wanted to be on both markets, but they didn't know how. Oh, we got a suggestion. Let's use the program button on the board for Syracuse and the audition button on the board for Utica. When you're talking to both markets, hit both buttons. When you're only talking to one market, hit one button off and keep one button on. Oh, that's not
and we're going to program.
Disaster.
We're going to program commercial spots while there's a cart plane in one market, and you're going to have to listen to it in your headphones to
So
make sure it doesn't end. And you're going to have to be talking about what's going on in the other market. And this is
radio.
That's where I learned radio. I started at that station.
Honest to God, though, man, if you could do radio there that way, you can do radio anywhere. You know? I mean, what are some summertime promotions that you remember growing up before you got into radio?
You mean like when I listened to the radio?
Yeah, when you were a kid growing up.
Oh, my God. I remember Gata Regatta was a huge thing. They did these regatta races at Onondaga Lake, which is one of the most polluted lakes in the entire country. In Syracuse. They've cleaned it up a bit since then, but and at one time was like top 3 for the most polluted because a company came to town and they dumped all sorts of toxic stuff in there. But they did a thing in the late 70s, early 80s called Gata Regatta, and all the stations were there, and this drew tens of thousands of people to Onondaga Lake Park in Liverpool, New York. And I just remember hearing about it. The place that sold tickets to everything was a place called the Panhandler. And there was one up on the Syracuse University Hill. There was another one, I think, in Liverpool. And I remember I grew up wanting to be on the radio.
Yeah.
So in essence, I'm in a way living a dream.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like, how's that voice coming through there? Who is that? And I started loving music at an early age. So I remember all this stuff. So the regatta races in Syracuse, also in the Syracuse, Hotel Syracuse was a place. And they did Party in the Plaza, a thing called Party in the Plaza. Now, a lot of promotions have started to try to bring it back, like more Party in the Plaza or let's party again in the plaza, like since that. And it just hasn't taken off. But Party in the Plaza was a big thing where,
do you know what
all the hip people would go.
I was at Rock 101 in Manchester, New Hampshire, and we did this thing we did it probably 5 summers in a row, and it was such a huge hit. We had people going down blocks of street, like cars waiting. We did this thing called the Pizza Hut free lunch, a bumper sticker free lunch. You put a bumper sticker on your car, and you go in, you get a free personal pan pizza. And I'll tell you something, these things were freaking huge. We did the Sky Show in New Hampshire, which was big. But truly nothing, there's a concert out here, Bob, called Rockfest. That's huge. But
I've heard you promote it. Yeah, I've heard you promote it.
But you know what? It's not, I don't want to put them down. Good for these guys. They've got everything going for them. Good for them. I'll say nothing bad. My mom always said, if you got nothing good to say, don't say anything at all. We'll just go on to the next subject.
Let me just ask you one thing about that. Was that the show, was that the concert where they had a hard time with one of the bands that it went national, that this band made
Robbie,
Falling in Reverse?
Yeah, Robbie, whatever his name is, Radke or whatever his Ronnie
Radke.
Yeah. Yep. Same one. Great show. You know, it's a great show. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of people that hate me for this, but you were part, Bob, as well. Okay, so now you and me can both relate to this. Woodstock 99.
You were there.
Okay. Woodstock 99, when Dave Matthews, they shut down all the other stages. And I hate Dave Matthews with a freaking passion. but I give him credit because Dave Matthews had, they said, 402,000 people in front of him that day.
Wow.
You know, so I've been to bigger concerts that were just not as handcuffy as that one is. You know, it's weird. And it's handcuffy for radio people, and it shouldn't be. That was my issue. Does that make sense to you? You know, if
you were there, I wasn't. I was back in the studio running the board and everything.
Woodstock was not handcuffy. Woodstock, if I had a friend with me and I wanted to bring him back, we had a camper back, like we had a nice room that we were living in for 4 days or whatever. If I had a friend I wanted to bring back in to do some partying, nobody's going to say nothing. At this one here, I couldn't even bring somebody back to my truck to smoke a spliff with somebody because there were security people like, you know who I am, you know what I do, blah, blah, blah. But it's ridiculous. You don't get the niceties here. And that was one of the issues I had with it.
Shame.
It is a shame. It's a shame. And, I'm not the only one that says it. So it is what it is. To me, if you are the headline, in a nutshell, and if you don't like me for this ever again, you don't like me for this ever again. I was always standing up for the station I worked on, Bob, okay? Always stood up for the station I worked for. That was the biggest thing of the year for that station.
Yeah.
We got there. Oh, sure. We had the main booth, okay? But in essence, they treated us like shit, okay? And to me, you got to treat every station well. When you got a station out of Minneapolis that gets treated the same as the station from that hometown, that always burnt my shit up. That bothered me a lot. That's not the way it should be, at least to me. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that's why I don't run concerts. What do you think?
I think it should be open. It's a big party, and who gets the party going for the fans and the bands other than the radio station? We are the leaders of the party. We get this party started, yo.
They told me I had the big screen interview. They have a Titantron basically, and I was doing Phil Anselmo. And they said, Phil's in a bad mood. He's probably not going to answer any questions, blah, blah, blah. Ugh. I said, trust me, I'm good at this stuff. Don't worry about it. I started talking to Phil Anselmo about wrestling. Phil knew about Vito Carlucci. So all of a sudden, all the record people, all the Phil's people were they were all stressing out, and Phil and me are hugging each other. And it was one of the best interviews I ever had because you just have to be a human being with these people. That's it.
100%.
That's it.
You start talking to them about things that they do outside of music. Mm-hmm. You connect with them on a personal level. Talk about family stuff. Things like they want to talk about that. You just sit there and talk to them like we're talking right now.
What's your best interview? Your favorite interview you've done thus far?
Lejean from Seven Dust.
Yeah, okay.
It was a phoner for the K-Rockathon. This was the one in Oswego. The conversation lasted almost an hour, and I had to cut it down to 5 minutes to air.
Isn't that a bitch, huh?
I mean, we were talking about everything. And then when he saw me that day at the trailer, when he came down to do his interview from live at the show, he gave me a big hug, and he was just like, that was great. That was a fantastic interview. And for that same show, for the Oswego show, live at the show, I interviewed Wes Scantlin, who's obviously been through a lot of stuff.
Hell yeah.
Since then for Puddle of Mud. And I take pride in this. His record label guy came up to me and said, that was the best interview we've ever done. He said, I want to thank you for that so much. Wes just wanted to keep talking. You could tell that he hated to even be pulled away from that. And we just want to thank you. That was the greatest interview that we've ever done with this band. So I mean and they were huge at the time.
Yeah. Jimmy Walker was fun.
Oh, that was a great interview. I like
Yeah.
the great Kreskin. I thought the
Yeah.
Kreskin one was
Kreskin
great.
interview was fun. Probably the interview that stands out in my head the most was when I interviewed Roger Earl from Foghat. And I said, "Oh, Roger, I see Paul Butterfield from the Paul Butterfield Blues Band was on your last album. Big part of your last. Oh, yeah, Paul, he's my mate and blah, blah, blah. Good friends. Da, da, da." So I suppose you heard that they found him dead. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's just, I suppose you heard they found him dead in your apartment this morning. And this is all live. This is with a program director that at a rock station didn't even want me to say hell. Here's Roger Earl. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. And my program director's like, keep it going, keep it going. John heard all the big cheese. You remember this? Keep it going, keep it going. It was like, how the fuck did he die? He died of a drug overdose and blah, blah, blah. Or at least that's what they're saying. Oh, shit. Fuck. God, God. And throughout the whole thing, and here's the Foghat was playing at Methuen High School that night. That's how bad Foghat had fallen. So you would think after telling him his friend was found, whatever in that condition, you would think that maybe the partying would be cut down a little less. No, that night we partied on down. But yeah, so that was one of my more interesting ones. Classy Freddie Blassie was a fun one.
Oh, that had to be great. I'd never heard that interview.
No, it was way back when his thing that because every one of them makes an ID. This is Classy Freddie Blassie, and you're listening to SCORCH.
Geek.
Yep, and you pencil neck geek. So that was one that was always good. And one of my favorite interviews, and we became friends over the years. LeJohn as well. I'm pretty close with LeJohn, but not being a name dropper. Rob Halford from Judas Priest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I love Rob.
Rob and I have, over the years, one of my favorite IDs is, hello, this is real listening to the metal god, Rob Halford, and my buddy SCORCH, he's PFG, right? And I'm like, oh, God bless. I still get, I think, a little masturbation thought.
Oh.
Every time I hear that.
I met him at a place called Foundations Forum, which was a big industry thing that they did for radio and retail and the music industry out in Burbank, California.
Yeah.
Every year. And he was just starting Fight, and it was the first time Fight played. And so I met him out there and stuff, and just great guy. He wanted to talk to every individual person like they were his best friend. He came up and he was very... look you, just like Ronnie James Dio, if you've ever met him, look you right in the eye, talk to you, say things that you would think were obscure, but he would get it and he'd be right along with you on the same wavelength. And you left that interview thinking you were his best friend. And I mean, he'd ask you, how's the family? Even though he's never met you, how's your family doing? How's he was one of those guys. So Dio's my favorite of all time. So I really miss him.
I did an interview with Wendy Dio at one point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she was.
Was it after he passed?
Yeah, it was. So I mean, I think I was maybe I might have been here in Wisconsin when I did the interview with Wendy Dio. As a matter of fact, I know I was. Yeah, I was. Do you remember it all? I'm going to run the name by them. I'm going to play another tune. Do you remember the name Art Sears? Remember my guy Art? He was my booker. My guest booker, Art from New York.
Yes. Now that you say it that way, yep.
He's actually from Connecticut. Hey, SCORCH, this is Art. Art used to book me a lot of great guests, so I miss Art. I'd love to run into Art again. Hey, Art, I know you're watching. We got to hook up again. One of the record labels. Thanks. One of the record labels I've been working with is a record label out of Finland. They're called Inverse Records. And they're basically a heavy metal record label. This is a really good tune. The band is called Cardinal Fleet, Bob, and the song is called The Heat. Okay, it's Cardinal Fleet on SCORCH's PFG-TV.
Let's go!
There is a lot of that style. There's a lot of that style coming back. It's like a retro sound, but it's got a modern twist to it. And those guys have a good sense of humor. You can tell in that video.
They were formed in early 2024. And just like you said, Bob, they are proud of their skate pop sound and look. And who would think Finland would have that, pop skate guys? That kind of freaked me out.
Believe it or not, a lot of the European and Scandinavian countries are wild about like 80s and 90s culture, especially 80s. There's a lot of bands, like there's a band called Crash Diet out there right now that is from Sweden. And it's the same type of thing. And they draw huge crowds. They don't really get over to the States, these bands. It's hard to tour, even for American bands to tour right now. There's not, you've seen how much tickets are and everything. I mean, it's like a luxury to get to go to a show.
So tell us what Bob does these days. B.O.B. Where can people find you?
I am on 95X. I do weekends there, 95.7 WAQX in Syracuse. And I produce games on their AM station for the Syracuse Mets, the AAA affiliates of the New York Mets. Obviously, that's on WSKO 1260.
The thing about Syracuse that I noticed was very few sunny days. It always seems cloudy there. And I was in Syracuse for 13 years, so I have every right to say it. I consider Syracuse one of my second homes because I was there for a long time.
You were.
My pal Beaner, our pal Beaner.
I love Beaner.
Beaner's going to be joining us on the podcast soon as well. Maybe you should join us too.
Really? Nice.
Because Beaner, she does in your area. She's some sort of private investigator plus. Like she does some sort of I asked her last time I spoke to her a week ago, hey, are you ever in danger? Hey, fucker, I'm always in danger.
Yeah, that's Beaner.
Yeah, that's Beaner. So I think we're going to have Beaner join us at some point soon. Bob, I want to play another tune for us if I can.
Yeah,
this one here, these guys and gals, they're from Florida. I love them. They came on my radio show before they're even really getting out there to play. It was the first show in the area. It is Addie and crew, Ernesto and the whole gang, the guys and gals from Modern Mimes. This is called Portals on SCORCH's PFG-TV. I think we're good. That was. I'm going to edit that motherfucker and say that was Modern
Yeah,
Lives. And Portals.
I like that band a lot. I like
They're
that.
a really good band. Hey, Bob, we're running out of time. I don't want this thing to go too much longer, but this was a
gotta do it
lot of
again.
fun. I
Gotta
would
do it
love to
again.
have you
We
come
got
back
so
and
many
do some
more
more of this
stories.
with me. Would you like to do some more of this? Would you come
love
back?
Yeah, we've got a lot of great stories still to talk about. You got to talk about this.
Fuck, I forgot all about that one. Yes. Yes. Please come back next time and we'll tell you the story about the chair, the pullback, the brush off, and the hair and the toilet.
Wow, that is one of my favorite SCORCH stories.
Hey, Bob, I love you, brother. It's great seeing you, great hanging with you. And some form of us, we'll see you next time on Scorch's PFG-TV. Thank you so much. Bob, thank you,
Been
brother.
fun.